Yeah, you make a good example there about convincing developers to do things. This is a problem that exists with the existence of the DualSense controller and then the Xbox One controller, which structurally hasn't really changed since the original Xbox, really.
Yeah.
Like the DualSense is, I'm a really big fan of the DualSense. It is a great controller. In games that are PlayStation 5 first or on PC that have those PS5 features, you could do some like crazy things like FF16. When you open a door, the triggers actually it's harder to push them as you open the door further. Or Stellar Blade, where there's a thing where you're fishing. I turned it off because it makes fishing impossible. When you have a fish on the hook, the trigger vibrates. It makes it impossible to do the fishing minigame. But it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing. Like, you can get that stuff in there, but I mean, those are like on like AAA games or first party games or whatever else. Like, I work on non-intimate haptics also, and I like back with all of those boxes of sex toys. I have all of this old haptics hardware that they tried. Like, I have this thing sitting on my desk right now because I'm like trying to donate it to a video game museum called the Third Space Fest. It was like a flat, I think it came out like 2008. It was like a flak jacket that you wore. It had little air bladders in it. So that whenever you were like shot in a game, it would like the air bladder would just go poof, and it would like
Oh.
yeah, it would push the air out. So you're actually supposed to be able to feel like sort of percussive haptics against yourself. It actually just made you feel like a big roll of bubble wrap that someone was like popping. Uh, and they couldn't get any game developers to support it. I've got the Novant Falcon, which was a really cool haptic device that came out in the late 2000s, early 2010s. That was used for like feeling like actual forces in 3D. Oh, it was so cool. There's a fantastic Half-Life 2 integration for it. So you could actually like feel the weight of stuff you were picking up with the gravity gun and whatnot. It was so cool. But it was $300. It took up a good square foot of your desk, or like cubic foot of your desk, really. And no one supported it. So they went out of business.
Well, for anyone who's curious about that, LGR has a video on it.
Yeah, and I wrote the open source drivers for it. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I was not aware of either of these devices. I know people have talked about wanting to do like, hey, get shot in a video game, you obviously don't want to feel like you're actually being shot, right? But you want to feel something. Or like you're playing like with the VR boxing stuff, for example, is another good example. Like, you want to notice that you've been hit. The like true end game of that is when you can start doing like grappling. Like, that is no one has any idea how you'd even begin to approach that problem.
Yeah. So instead, I have decided to solve grappling of a different kind. Because that's like one of the things that I do get for free from working with the type of hardware that I do is brain chemistry. The great thing, like that's the thing. Like, when you're playing a game and the haptics are supposed to go along with it, you want the haptics to match the game.
Right.
So it's like if the vibration doesn't match up, like while you're riding a horse, you're gonna notice that possibly. Sure. But the great thing about working with intimate devices and sex toys and whatever else is, you already kind of got the horny juices flowing. When you start using that stuff, like your brain's already like awash in dopamine. So we can fudge a lot, a lot of the reaction there. It's like it doesn't really need to be 1-to-1 because it's just something's going on that's kind of matching the scene, and people are great with that. So.